Pinocchio Pops.
Jumping jeepers!
Hi everyone, this is AJ and welcome back to the channel. So these live action soulless Disney remakes, these cash grabs. Well, we've just got Pinocchio and I've just done watching it, so I'm going to talk about it and let you know whether it fits that same bill as them or not. Or has Disney actually done something special this time around? Let's talk about it. Okay, so this film here, Pinocchio, it's just dropped on Disney Plus the other day. Obviously, I've sat down and watched it, and why not? The film is rated PG, and we're a runtime of 1 hour and 45 minutes. The film is directed by Robert Zemeckis, a very famous filmmaker who directed the Back to the Future films, Castaway, Polar Express, among a wealth of other big films. The film is also produced from a screenplay by Robert Zemeckis and C. White, and is based upon the original Disney animated movie of Pinocchio, which in itself was based upon the book The Adventures of Pinocchio by Carlo Collodi, an Italian-born writer who lived his life in Florence, Italy. He was born in 1826 and died in 1890, and he wrote the book The Adventures of Pinocchio in 1883, and obviously he's left something behind. His book is still famous, it's still read by children, it's a magical story. So does this film live up to that? That's what I want to talk about. Before I do, hit the subscribe button, come and join the channel, and don't forget at the end, let me know your thoughts on this film, whether you've watched it or if you haven't watched it, whether you're going to miss it, whatever you want to discuss. Let's talk about it. So this film here, it stars Tom Hanks as Geppetto, the father figure, the old man of the film. It stars Joseph Gordon-Levitt as Jiminy Cricket, doing a fantastic Jiminy Cricket kind of impression.
Jumping jeepers!
The film is topped up by a wealth of other talented actors and voice cast, and includes Luke Evans as the coachman. Now, Luke Evans did play Gaston in the live-action Beauty and the Beast film. So he's now been in 2 live-action Disney films. So, what's the story for this film about? Well, we all know the story. Geppetto, the old man, he's lost his wife and his child, and he builds himself a puppet child to fill that void. And he makes a magical wish. He wishes upon a star for something magical to happen. And the blue fairy comes down and bestows life upon Pinocchio. Only he becomes a living puppet. And he has to go through these certain trials and tribulations and prove that he's worthy of being a real boy by being honest and being caring and, do you know what I mean, not getting corrupted by the world and all this sort of thing. And he goes on these adventures, and yeah, so that's basically the story. I don't want to, everyone knows the story of Pinocchio, but let's talk about it. Is this film any good?
A lie can really change a person, Pinocchio.
Oh, what's happening, Jiminy?
Looks like some sort of fairy magic. Kinda on the nose, if you ask me.
So, okay, what can I say? It's a difficult one, isn't it, right? Because on the one hand, these are well-produced, well-crafted, good-looking films, and they are. However, there is something missing. They do feel soulless. They do feel like they're lacking a heart to them. That being said, Disney almost gets this one right. It has changed up some elements and some story elements. When Pinocchio goes to Pleasure Island, you don't see him drinking and smoking and things like that. Obviously he's not, right? And they replace that with the smashing of clocks, which kind of makes no sense whatsoever, and it's very reminiscent to the film Peter Pan. Giuseppe, the old man, makes a lot of clocks himself, and Pinocchio's being encouraged to destroy and smash clocks. So there's this sort of mirroring of his life there. When Pinocchio goes to school, obviously he gets kicked out of school, and then he gets interested in joining and becoming famous, joining this stage production on stage, and they even use the word influencer. He could become an influencer. It's very sort of reminiscent of the young of today. Let's not go to school, let's try and make ourselves someone famous online, on YouTube, on TikTok, on all this sort of thing. People don't want to go out. A lot of young don't want to go out and work. They just want to make it famous by doing stupidness on here. So anyway, also towards the end of the film, the whale is gone and we've got a sea monster and things like this. So there are elements that are changed and that. Now, some of the elements I liked, some of them I didn't. Now, I do think that the film was maybe 10 minutes too long. It did start to feel like it was dragging for me. But the biggest thing that I liked about the film was the book ending of Jiminy Cricket sort of telling the story, and there's a very fitting end to the film, and I thought it was fantastic. And there's a lot of ambiguity at the end of the film around whether Pinocchio becomes a real boy or whether he stays a puppet. Now, it's very much like the end of, I liken it to the end of Inception with the spinning little wheel, right? Now, spinning top. You get a scene of Pinocchio walking off, and as he's walking off, he does start to sort of, or you believe you see him becoming a real boy, like from the back, you know, like the joints are gone and it's real legs. But I believe this was meant to be done a bit more subtly to give you this sort of like, did I see that or didn't I see that kind of thing. And Jiminy Cricket doesn't confirm whether Pinocchio turns into a real boy or not. He said maybe he just needed to feel like it in his heart. So there is this ambiguity around it. And I thought that was fantastic. That's sort of a did he or didn't he. It's up to the viewer to choose whether he did become or not become. The special effects in the film I had no issue with. Some of the singing and the songs kind of felt a bit out of place, like they just sort of dropped out of nowhere and didn't really need to be there, this sort of thing. But overall, I enjoyed it. It wasn't a bad film, but these live action ones certainly do lack. They're lacking something. They're lacking that heart, and they do feel rather soulless. And I can understand people watching them feel like their soul is being sucked out while watching them, because obviously the animated feature is far better. It is far superior. But this film does some stuff better than that, I will say that. Some of the big sort of narrative plot points in that and the ease of stuff happening isn't used in this film, and there's a bit more of a story, how you get from A to B and this sort of a thing like that. So it's okay, very middle of the road sort of a film, but I enjoyed it. It wasn't a bad film. It wasn't a terrible film, but it could have been a far better film. It's just the animated one is far superior. That's it. This is AJ. I'm going to leave it there. Let me know your thoughts down below and hit that subscribe button. I'll see you on the next one. Take care all and goodbye.